Hello there everyone, this is Mark 3 and welcome back to the giant stompy robot simulator that is Mechwarrior Online. For today's walk we've got my other hero Uziel. It's coming to the point where I'm starting to run a bit short on hero mechs. I'm kind of surprised I've lasted this long, to be honest, but you know, there are some things to revisit and there's still a few that I've not touched yet, but you know, we're getting there, slowly but surely. But for this particular walk, we've got the UZL-3S variant. So this is the one I got from ordering the entire Uziel pack, along with the Annihilators, which is why I wound up getting it. But yes, the UZL-3S, which I called Sir Canday when I first saw it and painted it white and red. Because that striped texture on it, it's like, it looked very much like a piece of candy. Oh well, I suppose it's mint flavoured now or something. But yes, in this I've got a mostly mid-range fire support build. So, let's see what I've put onto this thing. If you've been following these videos for a while, you can already see something a little bit odd. There's something strange strapped to its right arm. What is this arcane device? Well, it's a Gauss rifle. But anyway, let's do the whole rundown. Thank you, my boy. Right, this Uziel is built on an endo steel chassis with ferrofibrous armour and double heat sinks, all of which came as stock if I recall, so, you know, it's a pretty high-tech chassis. It goes further by running on an XL300 engine, which gives it a full speed of 97.2, which is pretty darn fast for a medium mech, especially one of this size. But then again, this is an Uziel. It's kind of geared towards speed in how it's made, so, you know. All of the technology, though, doesn't leave it very much by way of slots. So, in terms of weaponry system, it has got a Gauss rifle, as already noted, fitted with 2 tons of ammunition. Of course, there's the usual quirk with the Gauss rifle, which is the weapon itself is explosive, but the ammunition is not. So it's slightly odd in that regard. Then this is backed up by a quartet of ER medium lasers. The entire thing has then got a rocket launcher 15 tucked into the torso just for a one-off punch if needed, and it runs on an XL300 engine. I've already covered this, darn it. But it's got a single double heatsink as well. That's what I was trying to gear towards, and then I lost the plot. Which gives it an overall heat management rating of 1.11, which is mainly because of the rocket launcher. Actually, if I take that off, it's like 1.5. So it's like I've got this single massive burst of heat from a rocket launcher. But if it not using the rocket launcher, then it's like it doesn't really care too much. Let's see if that's messed up. Save that. No. Cancel. No, I've not edited my loadout. Continue. Yes. I think it ungrouped the rocket launcher because I took it off and then put it back on again. That's what I was trying to just check. But yeah, as you can see, it's mostly light weaponry, with the exception of the Gauss. I tried to put a cannon in there instead, but then I realised, you know what? If I can find 2 more tons from somewhere else, which actually wound up being some extra heat sinks, then I can fit in a Gauss rifle instead of a UAC-10. So it's like, the UAC-10 was barely getting any ammunition, so might as well get the Gauss instead. Give me a better range profile. Though, as you know, I don't tend to use Gauss that much, so... Anyway, that's giving you a look at this build. So, let us begin. Roll on match number 1.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Fleet command coming in. Capture the target area and engage any hostiles.
Okay, here we go. Welcome, ladies and gents, to Forest Colony. The game mode is Domination. And I think he just accidentally fired a Gauss rifle or something. That was not an energy weapon burst. But yeah, I'm not getting Well, I think I'm getting better at remembering the difference between conquest and domination, but this time I just remember to check on the loading screen, so it's like, oh yeah, it's this one. So yeah, domination. King of the hill, basically.
Be sure to stop them.
Yeah, I think my ramble really is in the topic of Uziels, because the last Uziel and now this one, it's more like they're geared towards being general combatants,
Profiles on the other team.
aren't they? It's like general combatants. And that's
Profile.
because...
He's on the enemy team. He was the guy that was all salty towards the booth.
Ooh, so we've got a salt specialist on the other team.
Target
That
acquired.
doesn't sound too good, really.
Okay, doesn't look like that. Just look up YouTube for salty comms in WA.
Isn't everyone salty in this game?
I don't know, you should see the
Yeah,
video
yeah,
beef
yeah,
posted
pretty
here.
funny.
Target spotted.
But to be fair, like, the beef, like, bloody films people, puts them up.
I just love it when there's a random conversation going on.
Like, I'm not up for what the beef does either. That guy was pissed off, but still, I don't like people videoing other people. This game's pretty salty.
Actually,
New
normally,
target
I
acquired.
find it's not normally. Anyway, yeah, it's just every so often there's a salty person that turns up.
Don't push that corner, guys. I mean, we have to push that corner, guys. We're not going to get anywhere if we don't.
New
Affirmative.
target acquired.
Ooh, I think I'll focus on this Arctic wolf.
Rig, get on Fox.
Left torso critical
spotted.
damage.
And I got clipped by my own locust, I think. Oh. Blooming locust.
Target destroyed.
Okay, dead. However,
Get out of golf, I have to move up, man.
I really do think I lost my own armor. Right, I was saying Uziel, it's like, normally I tend to play like a more specialised kind of fit on my mechs, but on the Uziels I'm playing more generalist. It's because the Uziels really are generalist style mechs. That's kind of what they do. I mean, they're really fast, they're really light. Well, they're not light. They are not exactly durable, though.
Fuck's sake, move up.
Well, they were talking about someone being salty, now they're the ones being salty. Wish I had jump jets so I could get over this pass, but I don't. Okay. But yeah, it's like, the Uziel favours it. Unless you want to go front lining with it, because it's not got the armour.
New target acquired.
It's not got the armour to go front lining, but if you just keep a little bit of distance then and keep your mobility, the Uziel really shines, especially in terms of mobility, because it can take an oversized engine bay. That's kind of one of the things this thing does.
What a waste of a scorch.
What?
New target acquired.
Yeah, they're complaining about someone else being salty, and they're the ones being salty
You
from
always
what I
see the
hear.
scores at the end of the game.
Oh, what the fuck ever, man. You take one of the best brawlers in the game and turn it into
Shut
a
up,
Limbo.
fuckhead.
Ow. Do not want to tangle with an Atlas.
TTC.
I have
Right
no
arm
armour.
critical damage.
Ow.
Center torso critical damage. Right.
Oh, yeah, there it goes. And honestly, this is a good example of salt. It's like, someone else is salty, someone else is salty, and then it's like, they're the ones being absolutely salty.
Why aren't you in a fucking Scorch then, playing it? I'm trying to see how it's all done.
Oh, wow. I can't believe the salt that's going on in here. I'm not even going to get involved, really. Except in the recording.
Just missiles on it doesn't mean you should.
Yep,
Fucking Kiwi
yeah,
cunt.
they're the ones being salty. Still, that's the problem with it.
Target acquired.
That kind of highlighted my point really quickly about how it's a generalist, but you don't want to go front lining with it. It just isn't durable at all. It blows up pretty darn quick, actually.
Heat level critical.
But yeah, that's that kind of summed up my rant anyway. It's a good generalist. Don't really specialise in it too much, because it's a very flexible platform. And that perfect example of how not to do it. Though the amount of salt here was also...
I know your team just got slaughtered because you're hanging in the back in an assault with flames. What are you going to do now?
Oh wow.
Left flag critical damage.
Who's hanging in the back?
We're taking out another assault, you fuckhead. It's not an assault, man. That's a heavy. Let's go back to shagging sheep, dude. Maybe you should just turn around and shoot the meat directly behind you. Instead of playing like a potato.
Yep.
Critical.
This guy's not. Well, to be fair, he's getting swarmed now.
I think you're gonna fire your missiles, you're doing no damage to him, man.
I'm kind of curious to see the screen now, so I'm waiting to see if this assault, where this is all going to lead. But that said, the King Crab is outmatched completely at this point. Except for the fact he's actually murdering stuff.
ATMs are going to come off the range and it's on there. Too close.
Dude.
Oh wow.
Hostiles are taking control of the target.
But honestly, he was doing the right thing, staying back with an AC2 variant of King Crab. It's not meant to get up in their faces, though he probably was hanging a bit far back. Let's see, team stats, King Crab, where's the King Crab? Because I think he did okay, actually. King Crab, match score 559.
I died first, and you died last, and I still got more damage than you.
Yeah, but the King Crab got the most match score and the most damage. So these guys are being really salty, complaining about this guy, but he actually did more than they did. He just wasn't in the circle, which was actually smart tactics on his part, but he could have been doing more support. I think that's the only thing I could say wrong with what he was doing. He wasn't supporting the rest of us enough. But that said, 923 damage. He definitely did a lot. He was just relying on the rest of us to try and hold the line. So, his tactics were sound. He was an okay pilot, and he was getting chewed out anyway. Oh dear. Waste of an assault. It's been a long time since I've heard that particular turn of phrase. Waste of an assault. I never really agreed with it, quite honestly. I mean, it's easy to quote-unquote waste an assault, but everyone has different views on it. Like, I suppose this is turning into the ramble for this one, isn't it? It's still going on, even though I'm dropping into the next match, ready to go, kind of thing. It's just loading up now. But I honestly thought this had kind of faded out by now. Which is, if you load LRMs into an assault mech, make it an LRM specialist, it's a waste of an assault. Da 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 da! A waste of an assault! And yep, so a couple of my most effective assault mechs are LRM types, so, you know. Some of them are just good that way. It also depends on how you play it as well. Because as I said, that King Crab was doing just fine. He was sticking back, he was firing, he did massive amounts of damage. He wasn't near enough to the front to help absorb incoming fire, so he was a bit far back, quite honestly, a bit too far back to share his armor. But I mentioned that was the only real criticism I could get. That's the only real criticism I can come up with, except for his reliance on the UAX. I'd have gone with a straight AC2 build there rather than the UAX, because the UAX just kept jamming on him. But yeah, overall his tactics were pretty solid, as proved by the fact he was the best player in the team, ignoring the fact that he didn't actually help us with the objective. Not once. Anyway, I suppose I should stop now, because I don't have anything else to say, and I've talked through almost the entire load into the next one, which has actually gone pretty quick this time, actually. Anyway, roll on match number 2, which is going to be Frozen City and Assault. So, yeah, there we go. I apologise for the over-ramble.
Reactor online. Sensors online. Weapons online. All systems nominal.
Okay, here we go, ladies and gents. Welcome to match number 2, Frozen City Assault. I know it's a massive, shocking surprise that we're on this map, but it's not like I talked so much last time. I wound up in the loading queue for this one. Oh, it happens sometimes, doesn't it? But I guess I start talking a bit whenever I hear people say, "It's a waste of an assault mech."
What's the game plan, guys?
Oh no, have I got the same people again? Well, we're going to see how this one goes, I suppose. Anyway, match number 2. It is time to give general feedback on the mech kind of thing. And honestly, I think, well...
Looks like inefficient sniping at inefficient range.
Perfect. Sounds great.
Yep, same people.
We pushing Delta or are we gonna go down Fox? We just wrecked with the enemy stuff. Which is sniping.
I'm heading over Delta.
Cool, Delta sounds fine. Good.
It's been too long since I've used a Gorse, so I'm kind of bad at it.
Do some poking on the way, but please don't focus on poking, because that doesn't win the
Target
game.
spotted.
Yeah. I think that's my big misstep with the design. I went for the Gorse
If
rifle.
only 5 of us push, the rest will all die eventually.
Yeah, it's the Gorse rifle is my main issue with this design. I mean, I'm fine with the speed. The lack of armor was already noted.
Target spotted.
So
is way out in the open, guys. G6, eat alone.
getting blown up like that was kind of a given. The laser loadout is pretty fair, and I think that's where most of my damage came from, actually. But the Gorse rifle is, I think, a bit of a misstep.
Perfect.
There's also a flanky back at H4.
So, honestly, I would have rather had the UAC-10, which is what I was going for in the first place. That would have been better, I think. Or at least more useful to me.
No, F7.
I just...
Let's go Echo 4. Get behind the buildings and then hit on them from the both sides.
Warning, incoming
Sounds
missile.
good. Good guys, push fast.
Oh, I finally hit with my... I think it was like my 6th Gorse shot. I finally hit something. Oh, dear. It's the wind-up. I mentioned this on the Streak SOMs last weekend, actually. It's like, I don't particularly get on well with the warm-up. I mean, don't get me wrong, the velocity profile of the Gorse is absolutely amazing.
Okay,
It's
cool, just
the fastest projectile weapon by far. But it's that wind-up that I don't like, and that's kind of like the root of why I don't use them much.
Target acquired.
And the Centurion did teach me respect for the Gorse. It really did. It's just not my favourite system. Some people swear by it, but it's not for me. Oh, hello. You're an enemy. Whoops, daisy. Looks like the enemy's kind of swarming into this area. That might be kind of bad, actually. The enemy's swarming this way to try and pick us out. Yeah, I think the enemy's trying to drive us out a little bit. There's a lot of enemies and only a few of us.
Okay, we turn them around.
Yeah, if the enemy would flank... sorry.
It's flanking at F8.
Target destroyed.
If our allies would flank into this area, that would be really good. And we've got a fair portion of the enemy force here, right?
There's a Lynx on your left, G7, but he's pretty low.
Target acquired.
Yeah, I would have rather had a UAC-10, to be quite honest. At least being able to rapidly fire is getting me used to the...
New target
Yeah, getting me rapidly used to the charge, wait, fire of this Gorse, but I'd have rather had the UAC. Okay, they really know where I am, they're focusing on me, it's time to relocate, like, now.
Behind you, F7. It's pretty low.
Yep, they've realised I'm relocating.
About to go.
Warning, incoming
Leg,
missile.
leg.
Warning, incoming missile.
Ow.
Warning, Warning.
Yeah,
incoming
our salient force has got kind of overrun at this point.
missile. Warning. Incoming missile. Right leg critical
Stop it.
damage. Warning. Incoming missile. Left leg.
Oh, and there goes my leg. As I mentioned, Uziel, not that tough. And yeah, as soon as my leg got crippled, I couldn't run, and then it's like, boom. And
So guys, if you have a chance to win, we really have to focus fire.
yeah, I got legged while trying to evade. But I had to evade, I was trying to get away. So, yeah, I guess final thoughts on the builds. Since I focus on it so much, I would rather drop the Gorse for the UAC-10 again. Or some other mid-weight projectile, like maybe a RAC-5? But the problem is that I have to duck and fire a lot. I don't have any real armor.
Target.
Yeah, I think get an AC-10 in here rather than the Gorse. Other than that, though, I'm absolutely fine with the build. It was just my choice of projectile weapons, and one that I'm not really fond of, but let it down.
Matt, that torso exposed. Almost down.
Yeah, I don't really have much more to say on it, really. That's the problem with a gemless design. Sometimes you don't have much to say about it.
New target acquired.
Not sure, I think we're going to lose this one because the enemy's like pushing in on what's left of our force.
Incoming missile.
But yeah, I'm going to call it there. This has been IronMark3. Thank you all very much for watching. I hope you guys have enjoyed the show, and the I think this has been more of a general thought kind of video rather than focused on the loadout, but you know, that's just kind of how it's gone this
New
time, isn't it?
target acquired.
But yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you all some other time. Catch you later.
New target acquired.
Then you really need to help